You were my pain. I've
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The Rambo film series is one of Hollywood's most iconic action franchises, originating from David Morrell's novel First Blood and brought to life on screen by Sylvester Stallone. The series began with First Blood in 1982 and spans 5 official films, culminating with Rambo, Last Blood in 2019. As of late 2025, there is no official continuation called Rambo 6. Discussions and fan-made trailers have circulated online under that title, but they are not affiliated with the official studio. Instead, the confirmed project in development is a prequel titled John Rambo, focusing on the early life of the character before the events of the first film. The upcoming prequel is being developed by Millennium Media, which holds the rights to the franchise, with Lionsgate handling distribution. The film is directed by Jalmari Helander, known for the action film Sisu, and the screenplay is written by Rory Haynes and Saurabh Nashirvani. Production is slated to begin in 2026, likely in Thailand, which will provide authentic Southeast Asian settings reminiscent of the Vietnam War era. The prequel is intended to explore Rambo's background, training, and formative experiences that shaped him into the legendary soldier seen in the original films. It is a character-driven story rather than a modern continuation of the saga. Noah Centineo has been cast as the young John Rambo, marking a generational transition of the character from Sylvester Stallone. Other cast members have not been officially announced, but supporting roles are expected to include fellow soldiers, allies, and adversaries. Sylvester Stallone may have a cameo or advisory role, though this has not been confirmed. The director's vision suggests a slightly more adventurous tone compared to the darker entries of the franchise, focusing on a younger, more agile Rambo who is beginning to discover his skills and face the challenges that will define his future. The prequel differs from previous films in that it does not continue the storyline of an older Rambo seeking revenge or survival. Instead, it examines the experiences that formed him psychologically and emotionally. While the plot details remain limited, the story is expected to highlight Rambo's early military training, missions, and the personal conflicts that contributed to his development as a soldier and hero. The filmmakers have indicated that the film will maintain the action intensity fans expect while offering a deeper exploration of character and motivation. Filming will likely take place in Thailand, with controlled sets and natural landscapes used to recreate the Vietnam War environment. The production aims to balance action sequences with character-driven storytelling, presenting a realistic portrayal of Rambo's early experiences without overly sanitizing the harsh realities of war. The screenplay team intends to respect the original mythology of the character while introducing new elements to engage both longtime fans and a younger audience unfamiliar with the franchise. There is currently no confirmed release date for the prequel. Industry speculation suggests a potential release in late 2027 or early 2028, depending on the progress of filming and post-production. No official trailers have been released yet, and any videos claiming to be Rambo 6, New Blood, are fan-made and not representative of the upcoming prequel. Fans should rely on official announcements from the studio and credible media sources for accurate information regarding the film. The prequel offers an opportunity to explore Rambo's transformation from a young soldier into the battle-hardened hero seen in the original films. It is expected to focus on themes such as brotherhood among soldiers, the moral ambiguity of war, the mental toll of combat, and the personal growth that shaped his character. By portraying a more humanized and relatable version of Rambo, the film aims to deepen the audience's understanding of the character while appealing to both longtime fans and new viewers. While details about the supporting cast, specific missions, and storyline are not yet publicly known, the project represents a significant step in revitalizing the franchise. The choice of a younger lead actor suggests a fresh perspective, emphasizing character development alongside traditional action elements. The filmmakers aim to honor the legacy of the series while creating a story that resonates with modern audiences, combining emotional depth with thrilling action sequences. The prequel is distinct from speculative Rambo 6 narratives circulating online. It is an official production with backing from recognized studios and creative teams. The story will focus on the origins and early experiences of John Rambo, rather than continuing from the events of Rambo: Last Blood. Fans can expect a new interpretation of the character, balancing action and adventure with a deeper exploration of his early life, motivations, and the challenges that forged him into the iconic soldier known worldwide. As the project progresses, updates on the cast, filming progress, and eventual release will provide further clarity. For now, the confirmed information centers on the origin story concept, the lead actor, the director, the screenwriters, and the studios involved. The prequel represents both a homage to the original series and a reimagining that introduces Rambo to a new generation of viewers, offering insights into the formative events that created one of cinema's most enduring action heroes. The Rambo film series has long been celebrated as one of Hollywood's most enduring action franchises, originating from David Morrell's novel First Blood and brought to life on screen by Sylvester Stallone. Beginning with First Blood in 1982, the franchise spans 5 official films, culminating with Rambo: Last Blood in 2019. Although fans have speculated and circulated content online under the name Rambo 6, no official continuation exists following Last Blood. The confirmed upcoming project is a prequel titled John Rambo, which focuses on the early life of John J. Rambo, exploring the experiences that shaped him into the legendary soldier depicted in the original films. The prequel is being developed by Millennium Media, which owns the rights to the franchise, with Lionsgate handling global distribution. Jalmari Helander, known for the action film Sisu, is directing, while the screenplay is penned by Rory Haynes and Saurabh Nashavani, both recognized for their work on action-driven stories. Production is slated to begin in 2026, likely in Thailand, to authentically recreate the Southeast Asian landscapes reminiscent of the Vietnam War. The film is intended as a character-driven story, focusing on Rambo's formative years, military training, and the experiences that defined his skills, mindset, and moral compass, rather than a modern-day continuation of his story. Noah Centineo has been cast as the young John Rambo, marking a generational transition of the character from Sylvester Stallone. Other cast members have yet to be confirmed, though supporting roles are expected to include fellow soldiers, adversaries, and civilian characters who influenced Rambo's early development. Sylvester Stallone may have a cameo or advisory role, but this remains unverified. The prequel is envisioned as slightly more adventurous in tone compared to the darker, grittier sequels, highlighting a young, agile Rambo confronting challenges that will ultimately define him as a legendary soldier. The narrative of the prequel diverges from previous films in that it does not follow an older Rambo seeking revenge or survival. Instead, it emphasizes his transformation through early military experiences, psychological growth, and moral development. While plot specifics are limited, the story is expected to depict Rambo's military missions, personal conflicts, and interactions that shaped his identity and combat prowess. The filmmakers aim to balance action sequences with character exploration, presenting a realistic portrayal of Rambo's journey into becoming an iconic figure in action cinema. Filming is expected to take place primarily in Thailand, utilizing both natural landscapes and studio sets to recreate Vietnam-era environments. The production aims to present war and military life authentically while integrating action and adventure suitable for a broad audience. The screenplay intends to respect the established mythology of Rambo, maintaining continuity with the character's legacy while introducing new elements that appeal to both longtime fans and a younger generation of viewers. A firm release date has not yet been announced, though industry speculation suggests a potential release in late 2027 or early 2028, contingent upon the completion of filming and post-production. No official trailers have been released, and any videos circulating online claiming to be Rambo 6, New Blood, are fan-made creations and not representative of the official prequel. Viewers should rely on verified announcements from the studio and credible media outlets for accurate information regarding the film's development. The prequel is expected to explore themes central to Rambo's character, including camaraderie among soldiers, the psychological effects of war, personal resilience, and the moral ambiguities of combat. By portraying a more humanized and relatable version of Rambo, the film aims to deepen the audience's understanding of his motivations and character development, bridging the gap between the young soldier and the battle-hardened hero depicted in the original films. While details regarding the supporting cast, specific missions, and plot developments remain unconfirmed, the project represents a major step in revitalizing the franchise. The casting of a younger actor like Noah Centineo signals a fresh interpretation of the character, emphasizing both emotional depth and action-oriented storytelling. The filmmakers are committed to honoring the legacy of the franchise while crafting a story that resonates with modern audiences through a balance of thrilling action and character-driven narrative. The prequel differs fundamentally from speculative Rambo 6 narrative seen online. It is an official production with recognized studios and creative teams, focusing on the origins and early life of John Rambo rather than extending the events of Rambo, Last Blood. Audiences can expect a nuanced portrayal of Rambo's early experiences, exploring the challenges and formative events that forged his identity, while maintaining the action and adventure the franchise is known for. As development progresses, further updates on the cast, filming progress, and release plans will provide a clearer picture of the project's scope. For now, the confirmed information highlights the prequel's focus on Rambo's origins, the involvement of a younger lead actor, the creative team behind the project, and the studios managing production and distribution. This prequel offers an opportunity to reintroduce the character to a new generation while honoring the enduring legacy of one of cinema's most iconic action heroes, providing both longtime fans and new viewers with a deeper understanding of the man behind the legend. The story aims to illuminate the early experiences that shaped Rambo into a disciplined soldier, a tactical genius, and a resilient individual capable of extraordinary feats in combat. By exploring his formative years, viewers gain insight into the mental and physical training, the moral dilemmas, and the emotional trials that contributed to the development of his iconic persona. This perspective enriches the understanding of Rambo's later actions, contextualizing his skills, instincts, and decision-making as the product of rigorous experiences and complex personal history. Moreover, the prequel is expected to provide a fresh cinematic experience by balancing action-packed sequences with intimate storytelling. The narrative is likely to interweave moments of personal struggle, camaraderie, and confrontation with external challenges, allowing audiences to witness Rambo's growth in a multidimensional manner. The film's approach to storytelling is designed to appeal to both those familiar with the Rambo legacy and new audiences, ensuring that the character's mythos is preserved while introducing innovative perspectives on his journey. The project also represents a strategic move by the studios to reinvigorate a classic franchise for contemporary viewers. By focusing on Rambo's early life, the filmmakers avoid the constraints of extending the narrative of an aging protagonist, instead offering flexibility in storytelling, character development, and action choreography. This direction allows for a compelling narrative that maintains the franchise's trademark intensity while exploring unexplored facets of the character's background, motivations, and resilience. In anticipation of its release, the prequel's development emphasizes authenticity, both in terms of setting and portrayal of military operations. The choice of Thailand as a primary filming location enables realistic depictions of jungle terrain, military encampments, and combat scenarios, enhancing the visual credibility of the story. Combined with practical effects, contemporary cinematography, and a focus on character-driven storytelling, the prequel aims to deliver a cinematic experience that honors the franchise's heritage while offering modernized action sequences and immersive storytelling techniques. The John Rambo prequel ultimately seeks to deepen the mythos of one of cinema's most enduring action heroes, providing audiences with insight into his transformation from a young, inexperienced soldier to the formidable, disciplined, and resilient figure celebrated across the original films. Through its focus on early life experiences, military challenges, personal development, and emotional growth, the prequel offers a comprehensive exploration of the character's evolution, setting the stage for both narrative richness and engaging action. This project is positioned to bridge generational gaps among viewers, offering both a nostalgic connection for longtime fans and an accessible entry point for new audiences to experience the origins of John Rambo. The Rambo franchise has long been recognized as one of the most iconic action series in cinema history, beginning with First Blood in 1982 and spanning decades with 5 official films. The character of John J. Rambo, originally created by David Morrell, became synonymous with resilience, survival, and an unwavering sense of personal justice. Sylvester Stallone's portrayal defined the character on screen, taking audiences through harrowing conflicts, personal loss, and the struggles of a soldier haunted by war. The last official installment, Rambo, Last Blood in 2019, brought the story to a conclusion that many fans consider definitive, yet the world of Rambo continues to captivate audiences. Despite numerous fan rumors and unofficial trailers circulating under the title Rambo 6, no official sequel has been confirmed. Instead, the confirmed project in development is a prequel titled John Rambo, which seeks to explore the character's formative years and the experiences that forged him into the legend seen in the original films. The prequel is being developed by Millennium Media, with Lionsgate overseeing worldwide distribution. Jalmari Helander, renowned for his work on the action film Sisu, is directing, bringing a fresh perspective and an adventurous tone to the story. The screenplay is crafted by Rory Haynes and Saurabh Nashavani, who have previously written compelling action-driven narratives with depth and character focus. Production is slated to begin in 2026, most likely in Thailand, to authentically replicate Southeast Asian landscapes reminiscent of the Vietnam War. The film is designed as a character-driven narrative that focuses on Rambo's early military training, personal growth, and the trials that shaped his psychological and emotional development. Rather than continuing the narrative from Last Blood, the story examines the roots of his resilience, tactical skills, and moral code. Noah Centineo has been cast as the young John Rambo, marking a generational transition of the character from Stallone. Centineo's casting signals an emphasis on a more agile and humanized version of Rambo, balancing action prowess with emotional depth. Other cast members have yet to be confirmed, though supporting roles are expected to include fellow soldiers, commanding officers, and adversaries who will influence Rambo's journey. Sylvester Stallone may appear in a cameo or advisory capacity, though this has not been officially verified. The director has indicated that the tone will be slightly more adventurous than the darker sequels, emphasizing exploration, discovery, and the early development of Rambo's abilities and character. The narrative is expected to explore Rambo's formative experiences in the military, focusing on his training, missions, and the moral and psychological challenges he faced. The prequel is likely to show the transformation of a young soldier into a disciplined, resourceful, and resilient hero. By examining the human side of Rambo before he became a battle-hardened veteran, the story allows audiences to understand the motivations, fears, and strengths that defined him in later films. The filmmakers aim to strike a balance between action sequences and character-driven storytelling, presenting Rambo as both a skilled soldier and a man shaped by experiences beyond the battlefield. Thailand's natural landscapes are expected to serve as the primary filming locations, providing dense jungles, rural villages, and authentic war-era settings. Studio sets will likely complement outdoor shooting to ensure controlled environments for intricate action scenes. The production aims to maintain realism in depicting military operations while delivering the excitement and visual intensity that audiences associate with the franchise. Practical effects, careful choreography, and attention to detail in costume and equipment are expected to heighten authenticity and immersion. The prequel differentiates itself from previous sequels by not relying on revenge-driven narratives or survival scenarios in contemporary settings. Instead, it emphasizes the growth of Rambo's character, highlighting the physical, emotional, and psychological challenges that shaped him. The story aims to depict the nuances of military life, the camaraderie among soldiers, and the personal dilemmas encountered in conflict, providing a layered and compelling portrayal of the young Rambo. By focusing on his origins, the filmmakers have greater creative freedom to explore new themes while honoring the established character mythology. Although a release date has not been officially announced, speculation suggests a potential debut in late 2027 or early 2028. No trailers have been released, and any videos circulating online labeled Rambo 6, New Blood, are fan-made and unofficial. Fans are advised to rely on credible announcements from the studio for accurate information regarding production updates, casting, and release plans. The anticipation for the prequel is high, with audiences eager to witness the origins of one of cinema's most enduring action heroes. The prequel's narrative is likely to explore themes such as camaraderie, moral ambiguity, personal resilience, and the psychological toll of warfare. By examining Rambo's early experiences, the film provides context for his later actions, explaining how he became capable of extraordinary feats and unyielding determination. The focus on character depth alongside action sequences ensures that viewers gain a comprehensive understanding of Rambo's journey, connecting his early challenges to the legendary persona seen in previous films. Noah Centinio's portrayal is expected to offer a fresh perspective on the character. While Stallone's Rambo was defined by physicality, grit, and survival instinct, Centinio's interpretation may emphasize vulnerability, learning, and growth, illustrating how a young man evolves under pressure. The combination of action and emotional nuance aims to attract both longtime fans of the series and new audiences who are unfamiliar with the character's history. This generational handover allows for a nuanced retelling of Rambo's origins while retaining the core attributes that have made him iconic. The prequel will also explore the impact of war on Rambo's psyche, including the moral dilemmas, fear, and trauma that shape a soldier's identity. By presenting these elements in a realistic and character-focused manner, the filmmakers intend to create an emotionally resonant narrative that deepens audience engagement. The depiction of personal struggles alongside external conflict ensures that Rambo's journey is not solely defined by action, but also by the psychological and moral challenges inherent in combat. Production design is expected to be meticulous, with attention to historical accuracy, military equipment, and environmental detail. The jungles, villages, and combat zones will be designed to immerse the audience in Rambo's early world. Cinematography and visual effects will likely enhance the intensity of action sequences while maintaining authenticity, creating a cinematic experience that honors the legacy of the franchise while introducing new storytelling techniques. The prequel's story may also explore Rambo's relationships with fellow soldiers, mentors, and adversaries, emphasizing the interpersonal dynamics that influence his development. These interactions provide context for his values, tactical decisions, and emotional responses, creating a multidimensional portrayal of a character traditionally defined by action alone. By highlighting these connections, the film deepens the narrative and gives audiences insight into the formative experiences that shaped Rambo. The choice to create a prequel rather than a sequel reflects both creative and practical considerations. With Stallone aging out of the primary role, a younger protagonist allows the franchise to explore untold stories and expand its universe. This approach preserves the character's legacy while introducing innovative storytelling, action choreography, and character development that appeal to modern audiences. The prequel format also enables filmmakers to delve into previously unexplored historical and psychological contexts, enriching the narrative. The prequel is expected to balance high-intensity action with introspective moments, showing the evolution of Rambo from an inexperienced soldier into a skilled, disciplined warrior. The combination of physical challenges, moral dilemmas, and emotional growth provides a holistic portrayal, giving audiences both the spectacle of action and the depth of character study. This approach aligns with contemporary cinematic trends that emphasize complex protagonists and layered storytelling. The narrative may also address the social and political context of the era, providing insight into the Vietnam War, military culture, and geopolitical challenges. By situating Rambo within this historical framework, the film enhances realism and provides a richer backdrop for character development. This contextual depth adds weight to the story, illustrating how external circumstances influence Rambo's choices, mindset, and eventual transformation. The prequel has the potential to reinvigorate interest in the franchise, appealing to both longtime fans and new viewers. By exploring the origins of a beloved character, the film offers fresh perspectives, new adventures, and deeper understanding of Rambo's motivations and abilities. The combination of action, character exploration, and historical context positions the prequel as both a continuation of the franchise's legacy and a standalone cinematic experience. Visual storytelling will be central to the film's impact, with dynamic action sequences, carefully composed shots, and immersive environments conveying Rambo's experiences. The cinematography is likely to highlight both the intensity of combat and the beauty and danger of natural landscapes, reflecting the duality of Rambo's world, harsh yet captivating. This approach ensures a cinematic experience that is visually compelling and narratively rich. The prequel's tone is anticipated to differ from the darker sequels, offering a balance of adventure, suspense, and character development. By emphasizing Rambo's journey rather than solely his combat prowess, the film humanizes the character and allows audiences to connect with his experiences on an emotional level. This tonal shift aims to broaden the appeal of the franchise and introduce layers of storytelling previously unexplored. Rambo's early experiences, including military training, combat missions, and personal challenges, will likely be depicted in a manner that highlights growth, resilience, and adaptability. The prequel intends to showcase his evolution, illustrating how each trial contributes to his mastery of survival, tactical skills, and strategic thinking. These formative events provide context for his later actions and cement his status as an enduring action hero. The depiction of Rambo's psychological development is expected to be nuanced, exploring his response to fear, trauma, and moral dilemmas. By examining these elements, the film offers insight into the internal factors that drive Rambo's decisions, resilience, and sense of justice. This depth ensures that audiences perceive Rambo as more than an action figure, understanding him as a complex individual shaped by experience and circumstance. Action choreography will likely blend realism with cinematic spectacle, illustrating Rambo's growing expertise and adaptability. Training sequences, combat encounters, and survival challenges will be designed to demonstrate his progression from novice soldier to skilled warrior. These sequences aim to engage viewers with thrilling visuals while reinforcing the narrative of growth and transformation. The prequel may also explore themes of loyalty, leadership, and personal ethics, emphasizing how relationships and moral choices influence Rambo's development. Interactions with mentors, peers, and adversaries will contribute to his understanding of duty, justice, and personal responsibility. These themes provide emotional resonance and enrich the narrative, offering audiences a multidimensional perspective on the character. The film's storytelling approach seeks to honor the legacy of the franchise while providing innovative and engaging narratives. By focusing on the origins of Rambo, the prequel connects historical events, personal experiences, and emotional growth, offering a comprehensive portrayal of his evolution. This approach ensures that the film appeals to both established fans and new viewers, maintaining the franchise's relevance and cinematic impact. The prequel represents a strategic expansion of the franchise, allowing for exploration of untold stories and development of a younger protagonist. This approach provides opportunities for sequels or spin-offs while maintaining fidelity to the established mythology. The careful integration of character-driven storytelling, historical context, and action ensures that the film can resonate with a wide audience and extend the cultural impact of Rambo. The production's emphasis on realism, historical accuracy, and character depth positions the film to provide a cinematic experience that balances spectacle with substance. The portrayal of Rambo's early life aims to reveal the complexities of his character, the challenges he faced, and the skills he developed, creating a narrative that is both exciting and emotionally engaging. Ultimately, the John Rambo prequel seeks to deepen the audience's understanding of one of cinema's most enduring action heroes. By examining his formative experiences, military training, and moral development, the film offers a multidimensional portrayal that bridges the gap between a young soldier and the legendary figure of the original films. This narrative strategy honors the legacy of the franchise while introducing new elements that ensure its continued relevance and appeal to contemporary audiences. The Rambo franchise has long been recognized as one of the most iconic action series in cinema history, beginning with First Blood in 1982 and spanning decades with 5 official films. The character of John J. Rambo, originally created by David Morrell, became synonymous with resilience, survival, and an unwavering sense of personal justice. Sylvester Stallone's portrayal defined the character on screen, taking audiences through harrowing conflicts, personal loss, and the struggles of a soldier haunted by war. The last official installment, Rambo, Last Blood in 2019, brought the story to a conclusion that many fans consider definitive, yet the world of Rambo continues to captivate audiences. Despite numerous fan rumors and unofficial trailers circulating under the title Rambo 6, no official sequel has been confirmed. Instead, the confirmed project in development is a prequel titled John Rambo, which seeks to explore the character's formative years and the experiences that forged him into the legend seen in the original films. The prequel is being developed by Millennium Media, with Lionsgate overseeing worldwide distribution. Jalmari Helander, renowned for his work on the action film Sisu, is directing, bringing a fresh perspective and an adventurous tone to the story. The screenplay is crafted by Rory Haynes and Saurabh Nashavani, who have previously written compelling action-driven narratives with depth and character focus. Production is slated to begin in 2026, most likely in Thailand, to authentically replicate Southeast Asian landscapes reminiscent of the Vietnam War. The film is designed as a character-driven narrative that focuses on Rambo's early military training, personal growth, and the trials that shaped his psychological and emotional development. Rather than continuing the narrative from Last Blood, the story examines the roots of his resilience, tactical skills, and moral code. Noah Centineo has been cast as the young John Rambo, marking a generational transition of the character from Stallone. Centineo's casting signals an emphasis on a more agile and humanized version of Rambo, balancing action prowess with emotional depth. Other cast members have yet to be confirmed, though supporting roles are expected to include fellow soldiers, commanding officers, and adversaries who will influence Rambo's journey. Sylvester Stallone may appear in a cameo or advisory capacity, though this has not been officially verified. The director has indicated that the tone will be slightly more adventurous than the darker sequels, emphasizing exploration, discovery, and the early development of Rambo's abilities and character. The narrative is expected to explore Rambo's formative experiences in the military, focusing on his training, missions, and the moral and psychological challenges he faced. The prequel is likely to show the transformation of a young soldier into a disciplined, resourceful, and resilient hero. By examining the human side of Rambo before he became a battle-hardened veteran, the story allows audiences to understand the motivations, fears, and strengths that defined him in later films. The filmmakers aim to strike a balance between action sequences and character-driven storytelling, presenting Rambo as both a skilled soldier and a man shaped by experiences beyond the battlefield. Thailand's natural landscapes are expected to serve as the primary filming locations, providing dense jungles, rural villages, and authentic war-era settings. Studio sets will likely complement outdoor shooting to ensure controlled environments for intricate action scenes. The production aims to maintain realism in depicting military operations while delivering the excitement and visual intensity that audiences associate with the franchise. Practical effects, careful choreography, and attention to detail in costume and equipment are expected to heighten authenticity and immersion. The prequel differentiates itself from previous sequels by not relying on revenge-driven narratives or survival scenarios in contemporary settings. Instead, it emphasizes the growth of Rambo's character, highlighting the physical, emotional, and psychological challenges that shaped him. The story aims to depict the nuances of military life, the camaraderie among soldiers, and the personal dilemmas encountered in conflict, providing a layered and compelling portrayal of the young Rambo. By focusing on his origins, the filmmakers have greater creative freedom to explore new themes while honoring the established character mythology. Although a release date has not been officially announced, speculation suggests a potential debut in late 2027 or early 2028. No trailers have been released, and any videos circulating online labeled Rambo 6, New Blood, are fan-made and unofficial. Fans are advised to rely on credible announcements from the studio for accurate information regarding production updates, casting, and release plans. The anticipation for the prequel is high, with audiences eager to witness the origins of one of cinema's most enduring action heroes. The prequel's narrative is likely to explore themes such as camaraderie, moral ambiguity, personal resilience, and the psychological toll of warfare. By examining Rambo's early experiences, the film provides context for his later actions, explaining how he became capable of extraordinary feats and unyielding determination. The focus on character depth alongside action sequences ensures that viewers gain a comprehensive understanding of Rambo's journey, connecting his early challenges to the legendary persona seen in previous films. Noah Centinio's portrayal is expected to offer a fresh perspective on the character. While Stallone's Rambo was defined by physicality, grit, and survival instinct, Centinio's interpretation may emphasize vulnerability, learning, and growth, illustrating how a young man evolves under pressure. The combination of action and emotional nuance aims to attract both longtime fans of the series and new audiences who are unfamiliar with the character's history. This generational handover allows for a nuanced retelling of Rambo's origins while retaining the core attributes that have made him iconic. The prequel will also explore the impact of war on Rambo's psyche, including the moral dilemmas, fear, and trauma that shape a soldier's identity. By presenting these elements in a realistic and character-focused manner, the filmmakers intend to create an emotionally resonant narrative that deepens audience engagement. The depiction of personal struggles alongside external conflict ensures that Rambo's journey is not solely defined by action, but also by the psychological and moral challenges inherent in combat. Production design is expected to be meticulous, with attention to historical accuracy, military equipment, and environmental detail. The jungles, villages, and combat zones will be designed to immerse the audience in Rambo's early world. Cinematography and visual effects will likely enhance the intensity of action sequences while maintaining authenticity, creating a cinematic experience that honors the legacy of the franchise while introducing new storytelling techniques. The prequel's story may also explore Rambo's relationships with fellow soldiers, mentors, and adversaries, emphasizing the interpersonal dynamics that influence his development. These interactions provide context for his values, tactical decisions, and emotional responses, creating a multidimensional portrayal of a character traditionally defined by action alone. By highlighting these connections, the film deepens the narrative and gives audiences insight into the formative experiences that shaped Rambo. The choice to create a prequel rather than a sequel reflects both creative and practical considerations. With Stallone aging out of the primary role, a younger protagonist allows the franchise to explore untold stories and expand its universe. This approach preserves the character's legacy while introducing innovative storytelling, action choreography, and character development that appeal to modern audiences. The prequel format also enables filmmakers to delve into previously unexplored historical and psychological contexts, enriching the narrative. The prequel is expected to balance high-intensity action with introspective moments, showing the evolution of Rambo from an inexperienced soldier into a skilled, disciplined warrior. The combination of physical challenges, moral dilemmas, and emotional growth provides a holistic portrayal, giving audiences both the spectacle of action and the depth of character study. This approach aligns with contemporary cinematic trends that emphasize complex protagonists and layered storytelling. The narrative may also address the social and political context of the era, providing insight into the Vietnam War, military culture, and geopolitical challenges. By situating Rambo within this historical framework, the film enhances realism and provides a richer backdrop for character development. This contextual depth adds weight to the story, illustrating how external circumstances influence Rambo's choices, mindset, and eventual transformation. The prequel has the potential to reinvigorate interest in the franchise, appealing to both longtime fans and new viewers. By exploring the origins of a beloved character, the film offers fresh perspectives, new adventures, and deeper understanding of Rambo's motivations and abilities. The combination of action, character exploration, and historical context positions the prequel as both a continuation of the franchise's legacy and a standalone cinematic experience. Visual storytelling will be central to the film's impact, with dynamic action sequences, carefully composed shots, and immersive environments conveying Rambo's experiences. The cinematography is likely to highlight both the intensity of combat and the beauty and danger of natural landscapes, reflecting the duality of Rambo's world, harsh yet captivating. This approach ensures a cinematic experience that is visually compelling and narratively rich. The prequel's tone is anticipated to differ from the darker sequels, offering a balance of adventure, suspense, and character development. By emphasizing Rambo's journey rather than solely his combat prowess, the film humanizes the character and allows audiences to connect with his experiences on an emotional level. This tonal shift aims to broaden the appeal of the franchise and introduce layers of storytelling previously unexplored. Rambo's early experiences, including military training, combat missions, and personal challenges, will likely be depicted in a manner that highlights growth, resilience, and adaptability. The prequel intends to showcase his evolution, illustrating how each trial contributes to his mastery of survival, tactical skills, and strategic thinking. These formative events provide context for his later actions and cement his status as an enduring action hero. The depiction of Rambo's psychological development is expected to be nuanced, exploring his response to fear, trauma, and moral dilemmas. By examining these elements, the film offers insight into the internal factors that drive Rambo's decisions, resilience, and sense of justice. This depth ensures that audiences perceive Rambo as more than an action figure, understanding him as a complex individual shaped by experience and circumstance. Action choreography will likely blend realism with cinematic spectacle, illustrating Rambo's growing expertise and adaptability. Training sequences, combat encounters, and survival challenges will be designed to demonstrate his progression from novice soldier to skilled warrior. These sequences aim to engage viewers with thrilling visuals while reinforcing the narrative of growth and transformation. The prequel may also explore themes of loyalty, leadership, and personal ethics, emphasizing how relationships and moral choices influence Rambo's development. Interactions with mentors, peers, and adversaries will contribute to his understanding of duty, justice, and personal responsibility. These themes provide emotional resonance and enrich the narrative, offering audiences a multidimensional perspective on the character. The film's storytelling approach seeks to honor the legacy of the franchise while providing innovative and engaging narratives. By focusing on the origins of Rambo, the prequel connects historical events, personal experiences, and emotional growth, offering a comprehensive portrayal of his evolution. This approach ensures that the film appeals to both established fans and new viewers, maintaining the franchise's relevance and cinematic impact. The prequel represents a strategic expansion of the franchise, allowing for exploration of untold stories and development of a younger protagonist. This approach provides opportunities for sequels or spin-offs while maintaining fidelity to the established mythology. The careful integration of character-driven storytelling, historical context, and action ensures that the film can resonate with a wide audience and extend the cultural impact of Rambo. The production's emphasis on realism, historical accuracy, and character depth positions the film to provide a cinematic experience that balances spectacle with substance. The portrayal of Rambo's early life aims to reveal the complexities of his character, the challenges he faced, and the skills he developed, creating a narrative that is both exciting and emotionally engaging. Ultimately, the John Rambo prequel seeks to deepen the audience's understanding of one of cinema's most enduring action heroes. By examining his formative experiences, military training, and moral development, the film offers a multidimensional portrayal that bridges the gap between a young soldier and the legendary figure of the original films. This narrative strategy honors the legacy of the franchise while introducing new elements that ensure its continued relevance and appeal to contemporary audiences. The film promises to provide insight into Rambo's courage, resourcefulness, and determination, illustrating how adversity, loss, and responsibility shaped him. By focusing on his formative years, viewers gain a richer appreciation of the character, understanding not just his actions, but the internal and external factors that forged his identity. The prequel aims to tell a story of growth, conflict, and resilience that resonates across generations, combining the intensity of action with the emotional depth of character study. Rambo's journey in this prequel will likely emphasize not only the physical aspects of combat but also the emotional challenges of confronting fear, loss, and ethical dilemmas. By balancing thrilling sequences with introspective moments, the narrative provides a layered depiction of a hero in formation, demonstrating the evolution of his skills, mindset, and sense of justice. The audience will witness the development of both the soldier and the man, gaining insight into the events that would define his legendary persona. Through its exploration of early military life, the prequel also offers commentary on the broader context of war and its impact on individuals. Rambo's experiences are shaped by the environment, leadership, and societal expectations of the era, providing a historical lens through which audiences can understand his transformation. This depth of context reinforces the realism and narrative credibility of the story, ensuring that Rambo's evolution feels grounded and believable. The story may include depictions of mentorship, rivalry, and friendship, highlighting how interpersonal relationships influence growth and decision-making. These dynamics contribute to Rambo's understanding of loyalty, courage, and moral responsibility, providing layers of character complexity beyond mere physical prowess. By exploring these relationships, the film humanizes the character and provides audiences with an emotional connection to his journey. The action sequences are expected to be intricately choreographed, combining tactical realism with cinematic spectacle. Rambo's development as a soldier will be illustrated through training montages, combat operations, and survival scenarios that demonstrate his ingenuity, adaptability, and strategic thinking. These moments will serve to establish his capabilities and foreshadow the skills that define him in later films. Rambo's psychological and emotional development will be central to the narrative, illustrating how early trauma, ethical challenges, and personal relationships shape a resilient and disciplined character. The film aims to depict the internal battles as vividly as the external conflicts, creating a rich and immersive experience that resonates on multiple levels with audiences. The prequel offers a fresh entry point for new viewers, allowing them to understand Rambo's origins without prior knowledge of the series. By presenting the character's formative years, the film provides context for his later actions, motivations, and legendary status. Simultaneously, longtime fans are given deeper insight into the character's background, making connections between past and future storylines. Ultimately, the John Rambo prequel seeks to create a cinematic experience that blends action, adventure, and emotional depth. It aims to honor the legacy of the original films while introducing a new perspective on the character, exploring the events that shaped his skills, values, and resilience. The narrative promises to engage audiences by presenting Rambo as a multidimensional hero, defined by both his abilities and his humanity. The film will likely leave audiences with a profound understanding of how adversity, conflict, and personal growth combine to forge a legend. By emphasizing the formative experiences of John Rambo, the story reinforces the themes of courage, perseverance, and ethical integrity that have made the character a cultural icon. The prequel has the potential to revitalize the franchise, bridging generational gaps while maintaining fidelity to the character's enduring legacy. Through immersive storytelling, realistic settings, and a focus on both internal and external conflict, the prequel aspires to be more than just an action film. It seeks to explore the psychological, moral, and emotional dimensions of Rambo's early life, providing audiences with a compelling narrative that blends spectacle with substance. The story positions Rambo as a hero whose legend is rooted not only in his physical skills but in the complex experiences that define him. The prequel's ultimate success will hinge on its ability to balance homage with innovation, presenting a narrative that respects the original films while offering new insights. By exploring the character's youth, early military career, and the trials that shaped his worldview, the film ensures that Rambo remains both relevant and compelling to contemporary audiences. The story's layered approach promises to engage viewers intellectually and emotionally, while still delivering the thrilling action sequences that define the franchise. By concluding with a focus on Rambo's evolution, the prequel will illuminate how resilience, courage, and moral conviction emerge from formative experiences. The audience will witness the making of a hero, understanding the combination of personal growth, tactical skill, and emotional strength that defines John Rambo. This narrative approach ensures that the prequel is not only a visually compelling action film but also a deep exploration of character and humanity. The John Rambo prequel is poised to expand the mythology of one of cinema's most iconic figures. Through exploration of his formative years, the challenges he faced, and the experiences that shaped his abilities and character, the film aims to create a story that is both entertaining and meaningful. By blending action, emotional depth, and historical context, the prequel promises to deliver a cinematic experience that honors the legacy of Rambo while introducing him to a new generation of viewers. The Rambo franchise has long been celebrated as one of the most enduring and influential action series in cinema, with John J. Rambo standing as an icon of resilience, survival, and the moral complexities of warfare. Beginning with First Blood in 1982, the character captured the imagination of audiences worldwide, portraying a soldier who was not only physically capable but emotionally complex, haunted by the traumas of war and struggling to find his place in a society that misunderstood him. Sylvester Stallone's portrayal became legendary, defining a cinematic archetype that blends raw physicality, strategic brilliance, and deep emotional resonance. Each installment following the original expanded on Rambo's life, from his personal battles in rural America to international conflicts, culminating in Rambo, Last Blood, which many considered the definitive end of his story. Despite this, the fascination with the character has endured, leading to the announcement of a prequel, officially titled John Rambo, which aims to explore the young soldier's formative years and the experiences that shaped him into the legendary figure known to audiences. This prequel is being developed by Millennium Media, with Lionsgate serving as the global distributor. The choice of Jalmari Helander as director reflects a deliberate shift toward a fresh perspective in storytelling, combining visceral action with deep character exploration. Helander, known for Sisu, has a reputation for portraying rugged characters in extreme environments, and his vision promises to maintain the raw energy and intensity associated with the Rambo franchise while introducing a more adventurous and layered approach to the protagonist's early life. The screenplay, penned by Rory Haynes and Saurabh Nashirvani, is expected to delve deeply into the psychological, emotional, and tactical development of Rambo, presenting his origin as a complex interplay of personal choices, military discipline, and the shaping forces of conflict. Noah Centineo has been cast as the young John Rambo, representing a significant generational transition from Stallone's portrayal. This casting choice is deliberate, designed to emphasize agility, intelligence, and emotional vulnerability, portraying Rambo as both a developing soldier and a young man confronting the harsh realities of war for the first time. While other casting announcements remain unconfirmed, reports suggest that a supporting ensemble will include fellow recruits, mentors, and adversaries, each contributing to Rambo's early development. Stallone himself may appear in a cameo or advisory capacity, offering continuity for longtime fans, though this remains unverified. The prequel aims to strike a balance between honoring the established legacy of Rambo and creating a fresh cinematic experience for new audiences. The narrative of the prequel centers on Rambo's early military experiences, exploring the training, missions, and personal challenges that forged his skills, resilience, and moral framework. Unlike the sequels, which focus on revenge, survival, and mature conflict, this story emphasizes character formation and psychological development. Viewers will witness the young soldier's evolution, from raw potential to disciplined strategist, navigating both physical obstacles and moral dilemmas. By focusing on his formative years, the prequel provides context for the iconic qualities that audiences recognize in Rambo: strategic intelligence, emotional resilience, and an unwavering sense of justice, even in the face of impossible odds. Thailand has been chosen as the primary filming location to authentically recreate the landscapes associated with Southeast Asian military campaigns. The natural terrain provides dense jungles, remote villages, and rugged environments that serve both as training grounds and theaters of combat for Rambo's early missions. Controlled studio sets will complement on-location filming to allow precision in action sequences, while production designers focus on historical accuracy in military equipment, vehicles, and uniforms. This attention to detail is intended to immerse viewers fully in the world of young Rambo, highlighting both the beauty and danger of the natural and human-made environments he encounters. The prequel's tone differentiates it from previous entries by offering a balance of high-intensity action and introspective character development. While the earlier films often focused on survival or revenge, this story emphasizes exploration, learning, and growth, showing how a young man becomes a legendary soldier. Themes such as loyalty, morality, personal responsibility, and the psychological cost of war are expected to be central, illustrating that Rambo's iconic traits are not innate but earned through struggle, experience, and the guidance of mentors. The filmmakers are deliberately constructing a narrative that will appeal to both longtime fans seeking continuity and new audiences encountering the character for the first time. The psychological complexity of young Rambo is likely to be a major narrative focus. The story examines how early exposure to conflict, ethical dilemmas, and intense personal challenges shapes his mental resilience. Training sequences will demonstrate the rigorous physical and tactical preparation required, while combat scenarios will reveal his ingenuity, courage, and strategic thinking. These experiences collectively explain the development of Rambo's extraordinary skills, making the character's legendary status in later films believable and emotionally resonant. The depiction of interpersonal relationships will further deepen the narrative. Fellow soldiers, commanding officers, and local allies are expected to challenge Rambo, teaching him the values of trust, camaraderie, and leadership. Adversaries, whether human or environmental, provide trials that test his morality, patience, and tactical judgment. The interplay of these relationships emphasizes that Rambo's abilities are not merely physical but shaped by emotional intelligence, ethical reasoning, and the cumulative lessons learned through experience. Action choreography in the prequel promises to combine realism with cinematic spectacle. Early sequences are expected to depict training montages, stealth missions, survival exercises, and strategic combat operations. Each action set piece will serve not only to thrill audiences but to illustrate Rambo's growth as a soldier and a thinker. The sequence design ensures that viewers witness a tangible progression, from raw talent to refined expertise, reinforcing the narrative of a hero in formation rather than an already established legend. The prequel also intends to explore the social and political context of the era, providing insight into military culture, the effects of geopolitical conflict, and the challenges faced by soldiers operating in unfamiliar territories. These elements enrich the storytelling, showing how Rambo's experiences are shaped not only by personal choice but by larger historical forces. Understanding these dynamics allows audiences to appreciate the full depth of his character, contextualizing his later actions and decisions in the sequels. Historical accuracy in costumes, props, and environmental design will be a key production focus. From military gear to local architecture, the filmmakers aim to create a visually convincing and immersive setting. By recreating the textures of Rambo's environment, the film ensures that every interaction, battle, or decision feels grounded in a realistic world. This meticulous attention to detail strengthens the narrative by providing a believable backdrop against which the young soldier's journey unfolds. The emotional arcs of the prequel will likely parallel the action, highlighting personal struggles, moments of vulnerability, and the psychological toll of confronting life-and-death scenarios. Audiences are expected to see Rambo grapple with fear, moral uncertainty, and the responsibilities of leadership. These internal conflicts are designed to complement the external challenges he faces, offering a holistic portrait of a character whose depth is as crucial as his physical capabilities. The film's storytelling approach emphasizes continuity with the franchise while also allowing creative freedom. By focusing on the origins of John Rambo, the narrative can explore uncharted aspects of his life, providing insights into events, experiences, and relationships that were previously implied or unexplored. This balance ensures that the prequel feels connected to the established lore while introducing new narrative elements that enrich the mythology. Noah Centinio's performance is anticipated to emphasize both physicality and emotional nuance. By portraying Rambo's early vulnerabilities, uncertainties, and learning moments, the film humanizes a character often perceived solely through his combat skills. Centinio's interpretation promises to show that heroism is cultivated through experience, resilience, and the capacity for moral reasoning, rather than being innate. The prequel's exploration of mentorship will provide additional depth. Key figures in Rambo's early life, whether commanding officers or experienced peers, are expected to challenge, guide, and shape him. These interactions demonstrate how leadership, discipline, and moral guidance contribute to the making of a legendary soldier. Mentorship sequences will highlight the dynamic interplay of authority, trust, and personal growth, emphasizing that Rambo's development is both individual and communal. Rambo's early missions, as depicted in the prequel, will likely combine survival challenges, reconnaissance operations, and strategic interventions. These scenarios not only provide excitement and tension but also serve as narrative devices to demonstrate his adaptability, problem-solving abilities, and evolving tactical intelligence. Each mission will function as a milestone, showing incremental growth in skill, judgment, and psychological resilience. The prequel will also likely depict Rambo's moral struggles in vivid detail, showing how ethical dilemmas shape his understanding of right and wrong. Choices made in moments of crisis, such as whether to save a comrade, protect civilians, or confront an adversary, are expected to reveal the formative values that define his later persona. This focus ensures that the audience recognizes Rambo as a principled and thoughtful hero, not merely a figure of physical prowess. Filmmakers are expected to employ a cinematic language that combines dynamic action cinematography with intimate character-focused scenes. Sweeping shots of jungles, villages, and combat zones will contrast with close-ups during moments of reflection, fear, and decision-making. This interplay between scale and intimacy enhances the storytelling, providing a visually rich and emotionally engaging experience. The prequel's musical score is likely to underscore both the tension of combat and the internal emotional landscape of young Rambo. Music will punctuate moments of triumph, suspense, and reflection, emphasizing narrative beats and reinforcing emotional resonance. The soundtrack aims to merge intensity with subtlety, supporting both the action and character development without overpowering the narrative. Rambo's interactions with civilians, both local and foreign, are expected to highlight his growing understanding of human complexity and moral responsibility. Encounters with those outside the military context will test his judgment, empathy, and capacity for ethical reasoning. These moments are designed to illustrate that Rambo's heroism is not only physical but moral, providing the foundation for his later actions in the sequels. The prequel also provides an opportunity to explore Rambo's physical transformation, showing how rigorous training, battlefield experience, and environmental challenges shape his endurance, agility, and combat readiness. These sequences are expected to be meticulously choreographed to demonstrate realism and narrative progression, allowing the audience to witness the tangible development of his legendary capabilities. Audience engagement will be driven by a combination of spectacle, narrative depth, and emotional resonance. By presenting Rambo as a multidimensional character facing realistic challenges, the prequel ensures that viewers are invested not only in the outcomes of action sequences but in his personal growth, moral choices, and psychological journey. The film may also introduce symbolic elements reflecting Rambo's inner struggles and growth, such as recurring visual motifs, environmental challenges, or interpersonal dynamics that mirror his evolution. These subtle storytelling techniques enrich the narrative, allowing the audience to perceive layers of meaning beneath the surface action. Rambo's early experiences in the prequel are expected to explore not only his physical training but also the cultivation of discipline, patience, and strategic thinking. Each challenge, whether in simulated exercises or real-world missions, will contribute to his mastery of survival and combat skills. The audience will witness the progression from a raw recruit to a capable soldier whose decisions and actions foreshadow the legendary capabilities recognized in later films. The narrative is likely to delve into the psychological toll of military life on young soldiers, depicting moments of doubt, fear, and exhaustion. Rambo's resilience is portrayed as a combination of innate determination and learned strategies, demonstrating that heroism is as much about mental strength as physical ability. These sequences provide emotional depth while emphasizing the realism of his journey. Interactions with fellow recruits will be central to Rambo's early development. Camaraderie, rivalry, and mentorship are expected to shape his understanding of loyalty, teamwork, and personal responsibility. The film aims to illustrate how collective experiences within a military unit forge character and influence individual choices, making Rambo's later independence and tactical brilliance believable. The prequel is anticipated to explore the moral complexities of warfare, showing Rambo facing difficult decisions that challenge his sense of right and wrong. These ethical dilemmas are crafted to humanize the character, emphasizing that his courage and heroism are intertwined with a deeply considered moral framework. By focusing on these challenges, the film provides audiences with insight into the inner workings of his psyche. Thailand's natural landscapes serve not only as a backdrop but as a character in itself, presenting obstacles, opportunities, and challenges that influence Rambo's growth. The dense jungles, river systems, and remote villages provide a living, breathing environment that interacts dynamically with the protagonist, shaping his tactical awareness and adaptability. Cinematography will capture the scale and intensity of these surroundings to immerse the audience fully. The prequel will likely highlight specific formative events, such as survival in hostile environments, encounters with adversaries, and covert operations that test both physical and mental limits. Each scenario is designed to provide lessons that accumulate over time, illustrating a clear trajectory of growth and mastery. These sequences also reinforce the narrative tension, keeping viewers engaged through both action and character development. The portrayal of Rambo's mentors and commanding officers is expected to provide nuanced insights into his ethical and tactical formation. These figures challenge, guide, and sometimes frustrate him, creating a layered dynamic that influences his decision-making, sense of justice, and leadership abilities. The mentorship sequences are central to understanding how Rambo evolves into a disciplined and strategic warrior. The prequel also offers opportunities to explore Rambo's personal identity beyond the military context. Moments of introspection, interactions with local communities, and private reflections allow audiences to connect with the human side of the character. These quieter scenes provide balance to the high-intensity action, ensuring a well-rounded portrayal that emphasizes psychological and emotional development alongside physical growth. Rambo's tactical intelligence is anticipated to be a central theme. Early missions will demonstrate his ability to analyze, strategize, and execute plans with precision, showcasing the early signs of the legendary skills that define him in later films. By gradually building these capabilities, the narrative ensures that the audience perceives his progression as realistic and earned. Action sequences are designed to be both visually thrilling and narratively purposeful. Each encounter, chase, or combat scenario is crafted to reveal facets of Rambo's character, whether it is his courage, ingenuity, resilience, or moral judgment. The choreography blends realism with cinematic spectacle, maintaining audience engagement while reinforcing story and character development. The film's approach to violence is expected to be grounded in realism, showing the consequences of conflict and the weight of decisions made in life-and-death situations. These depictions emphasize that Rambo's skills come at a cost, shaping his understanding of mortality, ethics, and personal responsibility. This realistic treatment distinguishes the prequel from more superficial action narratives. Rambo's emotional resilience is likely to be highlighted through repeated trials and setbacks. Each challenge, whether physical, mental, or moral, contributes to his growing fortitude. Audiences will witness the gradual development of coping mechanisms, strategic thinking, and emotional control, illustrating that heroism is built through experience, not innate ability. The depiction of interpersonal dynamics is expected to be rich and multifaceted. Relationships with peers, mentors, and civilians will test Rambo's judgment, patience, and moral compass. These interactions provide narrative tension and emotional depth, demonstrating how social and ethical influences shape a young soldier into a disciplined, morally conscious hero. Training sequences will serve as narrative milestones, illustrating Rambo's physical and tactical growth. Rigorous drills, survival exercises, and problem-solving scenarios demonstrate incremental mastery, reinforcing the story of personal development. These sequences are designed to engage audiences while providing a realistic depiction of military formation and skill acquisition. The prequel's production design will likely emphasize authenticity, with careful attention to period-specific uniforms, weaponry, and environmental details. By grounding the film in realistic textures, the filmmakers enhance immersion and credibility, ensuring that Rambo's journey feels tangible and historically resonant. This attention to detail extends to every aspect of the visual design, from terrain to civilian settings. The score and sound design are expected to complement both the action and introspective moments, reinforcing narrative tension and emotional resonance. Music will underscore critical plot points, heighten suspense, and accentuate the emotional stakes of Rambo's personal and professional challenges. Sound design will also emphasize realism in combat and environmental sequences, enhancing the audience's immersion. Rambo's ethical development will be a recurring theme, showing how repeated exposure to life-or-death scenarios and morally complex situations shapes his understanding of justice, duty, and personal responsibility. These lessons are portrayed as cumulative, with each experience adding to his moral framework, foreshadowing the principled hero seen in later films. The prequel is expected to depict Rambo's adaptation to environmental challenges, demonstrating his growing resourcefulness and ability to survive under extreme conditions. Jungle survival, navigating hostile terrain, and improvising under pressure are likely to be key components, reinforcing the narrative of evolution from novice to expert. Civilian interactions will also shape Rambo's understanding of empathy, ethics, and responsibility. Encounters with non-combatants provide perspective on the broader human cost of conflict, influencing his moral decisions and reinforcing his emerging code of honor. These sequences ensure that Rambo's heroism is grounded in humanity, not just physical capability. The psychological dimension of Rambo's journey is anticipated to be emphasized, portraying how repeated stress, fear, and moral ambiguity forge resilience, strategic thinking, and emotional fortitude. The audience will witness the development of coping strategies, adaptive problem-solving, and mental toughness, establishing a comprehensive view of his growth. Rambo's early leadership potential is likely to emerge through moments requiring initiative, decision-making, and the protection of others. These situations highlight the evolution of his strategic mind, sense of duty, and capacity to act decisively under pressure. Leadership sequences reinforce his journey from a learner to an influential figure within his unit. The prequel's narrative structure appears designed to alternate between action-driven sequences and reflective moments, creating a rhythm that balances tension, spectacle, and character depth. This structure allows audiences to absorb both the excitement of Rambo's formative missions and the emotional and psychological growth accompanying them. Rambo's skill set is expected to be presented incrementally, showing logical progression in combat, survival, and strategic thinking. Each challenge is a learning opportunity, demonstrating his increasing adaptability and reinforcing the credibility of his eventual legendary status. Audiences can trace a clear trajectory of skill development, enhancing engagement and immersion. The prequel may also explore symbolic elements, such as recurring motifs or visual metaphors, representing Rambo's growth, moral development, or internal struggle. These artistic choices enrich the narrative, offering layered meaning beyond surface action and providing depth for attentive viewers. Themes of loyalty, courage, and ethical responsibility are anticipated to permeate the story. Through interactions with peers, mentors, and civilians, Rambo learns the consequences of choices, the value of trust, and the importance of acting with integrity. These lessons lay the foundation for the principled hero he becomes. Training and mission sequences are designed to reflect realistic military strategy, emphasizing problem-solving, reconnaissance, and tactical execution. Each sequence illustrates his progression while maintaining narrative tension, combining spectacle with character development. Audiences witness the accumulation of experience, skill, and confidence. Rambo's engagement with hostile forces will demonstrate his evolving combat tactics, strategic thinking, and adaptability under pressure. These sequences are designed not only for excitement but also to illustrate how repeated exposure to danger shapes a disciplined, innovative, and resilient warrior. The film's visual style will likely alternate between immersive natural environments and close, intimate shots during reflective moments, highlighting both the external challenges and internal growth of Rambo. Cinematic composition reinforces thematic contrasts between survival, morality, and personal development. The prequel will examine the role of mentorship in shaping Rambo's ethical and tactical understanding, portraying how guidance, discipline, and challenge combine to cultivate resilience and wisdom. Mentors are pivotal in teaching him how to navigate both combat and moral dilemmas, reinforcing the story's layered approach. Rambo's evolving moral compass is expected to emerge through a series of ethical tests, such as deciding between personal safety and protecting others, obeying orders versus acting independently, and assessing the human cost of conflict. These dilemmas humanize the character and provide emotional weight to his transformation. The narrative emphasizes cumulative growth, illustrating how experience, reflection, and trial and error contribute to his mastery of survival, combat, and moral reasoning. Each event builds upon the last, creating a believable and compelling arc from trainee to emerging hero. The prequel will likely highlight the significance of small victories, showing how Rambo learns to adapt to the environment, anticipate threats, and make critical decisions under pressure. These early experiences emphasize the connection between perseverance and skill development, reinforcing the notion that mastery is earned through challenge and effort. Rambo's encounters with adversaries will explore both the physical and psychological dimensions of conflict. By facing cunning opponents, moral ambiguity, and unpredictable threats, he learns the value of patience, observation, and strategic foresight, laying the groundwork for his legendary tactical acumen. The depiction of camaraderie among fellow soldiers is expected to balance competition, trust, and loyalty. These interactions provide insight into Rambo's social and ethical development, demonstrating how collaboration, mentorship, and shared experience contribute to his emerging heroism. Rambo's psychological resilience is shown as a combination of internal fortitude and learned coping mechanisms. Scenes of fatigue, doubt, and fear are balanced with moments of insight, skill mastery, and problem-solving, presenting a holistic portrait of growth under duress. The prequel will emphasize the integration of mind and body, showing how Rambo develops physical endurance, combat skills, and strategic intelligence simultaneously. The audience witnesses the interplay between rigorous training, real-world experience, and mental adaptation, highlighting the holistic nature of his evolution. Encounters with civilians in remote areas provide Rambo with perspectives on morality, empathy, and the consequences of military action. These interactions reinforce the ethical dimension of his character and create moments of reflection amid action-driven sequences. The narrative structure is likely designed to progressively escalate tension, presenting increasingly complex missions and challenges that test Rambo's skills, judgment, and resilience. Each sequence contributes to cumulative character development while maintaining audience engagement. Rambo's leadership qualities are expected to emerge organically through trials that require initiative, decision-making, and responsibility for the safety of others. These moments reinforce the trajectory from learner to tactical and moral authority, highlighting his potential as a legendary figure. The prequel will also explore how environmental adversity shapes resourcefulness, adaptability, and survival skills. Harsh terrain, unpredictable weather, and natural obstacles serve as narrative tools to demonstrate Rambo's ingenuity and endurance. Rambo's ethical evolution is mirrored in his decision-making under high-stakes scenarios. Each choice, from tactical engagement to protection of innocence, illustrates the growth of a moral framework that defines his later actions and reputation. Mentorship dynamics are central to his development. Senior soldiers and commanding officers challenge, guide, and test him, providing critical lessons in discipline, tactical reasoning, and moral responsibility, shaping Rambo's holistic growth. The prequel will balance visceral action with contemplative sequences, allowing audiences to appreciate the internal and external challenges Rambo faces. This dual focus deepens engagement, emphasizing character evolution alongside cinematic spectacle. Rambo's adaptability is emphasized through varied scenarios, including reconnaissance, combat, and survival missions. The narrative shows incremental growth in tactical thinking, physical proficiency, and psychological resilience, creating a believable progression to heroism. The depiction of fear, trauma, and ethical conflict highlights the human dimension of Rambo's journey. These elements provide narrative weight, ensuring the character resonates with audiences beyond the scope of physical action. Rambo's interactions with peers reveal lessons in trust, loyalty, and teamwork. Conflict, competition, and camaraderie all contribute to shaping his judgment, ethical reasoning, and leadership qualities. Action sequences in the prequel are carefully designed to reveal facets of character growth as well as tactical skill. The choreography demonstrates progression, illustrating how experience and learning culminate in refined proficiency. The film will explore how early adversity fosters resilience and self-reliance. Challenges that seem insurmountable initially gradually become arenas for Rambo to demonstrate ingenuity and fortitude. Rambo's moral and ethical development is reinforced by interactions with civilians and mentors, emphasizing the consequences of action and inaction. These narrative threads establish a foundation for his principled behavior in subsequent stories. The prequel is expected to highlight the cumulative impact of experience on Rambo's emerging tactical intuition. Each encounter, mission, or training scenario contributes to a growing capacity for strategic foresight and decisive action. Environmental storytelling is central, with jungles, rivers, and villages serving as both obstacles and narrative catalysts. The setting reinforces realism, challenges the protagonist, and visually communicates the stakes of his development. Rambo's transformation is portrayed incrementally, showing tangible progression in physical capability, mental resilience, ethical clarity, and tactical proficiency. This approach ensures that the audience perceives his eventual heroism as earned. The prequel emphasizes both visible action and subtle character development. Moments of reflection, ethical deliberation, and observation are as critical as combat sequences, underscoring the multidimensional nature of his growth. Training montages are expected to serve as narrative milestones, demonstrating the acquisition of skills, endurance, and strategic awareness. These sequences are integrated seamlessly into the larger story, contributing to cumulative character evolution. The portrayal of interpersonal dynamics adds depth, highlighting trust, mentorship, and rivalry. These relationships challenge and refine Rambo's judgment, shaping his sense of morality and leadership. The prequel will explore the integration of skill and psychology, showing how mastery of environment, strategy, and self-control defines Rambo's emerging capability. Each challenge, success, and failure contributes to holistic development. Cinematic techniques will emphasize Rambo's perspective, using camera work, composition, and pacing to highlight both internal struggle and external threat. This approach ensures a layered, immersive experience. Rambo's problem-solving ability is expected to evolve through narrative challenges, with missions designed to test innovation, observation, and adaptability. These sequences convey cumulative skill acquisition. The prequel is anticipated to explore thematic elements of courage, moral responsibility, and resilience, showing how adversity, mentorship, and ethical choices converge to shape Rambo. Rambo's early confrontations with morally ambiguous situations provide lessons in judgment and ethical reasoning, reinforcing the internal dimensions of his development. The narrative underscores cumulative learning, illustrating how experience, reflection, and ethical decision-making reinforce physical, tactical, and psychological growth. Rambo's interactions with civilians and allies offer context for empathy, responsibility, and ethical reflection. These moments provide narrative weight beyond action and spectacle. The prequel emphasizes strategic thinking, adaptability, and emotional resilience as integral to the formation of heroism, presenting a holistic view of Rambo's evolution. Training sequences, mentorship, and environmental challenges are interwoven to demonstrate growth in skill, judgment, and ethical perspective. Rambo's progression from novice to capable soldier is depicted through a series of escalating challenges, each building on the last, illustrating logical development of ability and character. The film will highlight both internal and external conflict, emphasizing that heroism requires mastery of self, environment, and ethical choices. Cinematic design, including landscape, lighting, and sound, reinforces the dual focus on action and psychological growth. Rambo's moral and strategic framework develops incrementally, shaped by trials that test endurance, judgment, and responsibility. The prequel is structured to show layered growth, combining physical, tactical, and emotional challenges to create a complete arc of character evolution. Interpersonal dynamics, mentorship, and rivalry play central roles in shaping judgment, ethical reasoning, and leadership qualities. Action and reflection are balanced to provide both cinematic spectacle and narrative depth, ensuring a multidimensional portrayal of Rambo. Environmental challenges serve as narrative catalysts, testing resilience, adaptability, and strategic thinking, reinforcing cumulative development. Rambo's emerging leadership, moral clarity, and tactical skill are gradually revealed through escalating missions and complex interpersonal dynamics. The film emphasizes cumulative learning, showing how experience, reflection, mentorship, and ethical choices converge to forge heroism. By the end of the prequel, audiences will witness Rambo's transformation into a disciplined, skilled, morally grounded, and psychologically resilient figure, ready to become the legendary hero of subsequent narratives. The prequel promises to honor the legacy of the franchise while offering fresh insight, deep character exploration, and a compelling visual and emotional journey for audiences. Rambo's journey begins in the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, where the harsh environment immediately tests his endurance, courage, and adaptability. As a young recruit, he is unprepared for the physical and psychological rigors of training, yet the very obstacles he faces begin shaping the resilience that will define him. Mentors and commanding officers push him relentlessly, combining guidance with high expectations, ensuring that each failure becomes a lesson and every small victory is a step toward mastery. The natural landscape, with its rivers, cliffs, and dense foliage, serves as both challenge and teacher, forcing Rambo to develop situational awareness, tactical thinking, and a respect for the unpredictable forces of nature. Early missions present real-world consequences that extend beyond training exercises, introducing Rambo to the complexities of human conflict. Facing hostile forces, he must make split-second decisions that balance survival with ethical responsibility, learning the weight of every choice he makes. His tactical intelligence grows through observation, improvisation, and problem-solving under extreme pressure, illustrating the incremental development of skills that will define him as a legendary figure. Each engagement emphasizes not only his physical capability but also his capacity for strategic foresight, emotional control, and moral reasoning. Camaraderie and competition among his fellow recruits further shape Rambo's development. Trust, loyalty, and rivalry emerge in equal measure, providing fertile ground for interpersonal growth. Through moments of shared struggle, victories, and failures, he begins to understand the importance of teamwork while also cultivating independent judgment. Mentors act as catalysts, challenging him to question assumptions, refine tactics, and reconcile his instinctive impulses with disciplined strategy. These interactions highlight the dual nature of Rambo's evolution, the simultaneous growth of skill and character, each informing the other. Training sequences are depicted as relentless and transformative, emphasizing both the physical and mental aspects of soldiering. Early exercises, grueling survival simulations, and combat drills teach endurance, precision, and resourcefulness. Rambo learns to anticipate threats, conserve energy, and leverage environmental advantages, gradually internalizing lessons that will inform his future as a master strategist. These sequences are designed to convey authenticity while maintaining cinematic intensity, blending visual spectacle with deep character work. Psychological resilience is a central theme, with Rambo confronting fear, doubt, and moral ambiguity at every turn. Early exposure to life-and-death scenarios forces him to develop coping mechanisms, mental discipline, and situational awareness. Each challenge strengthens his ability to remain composed under pressure, illustrating that heroism is as much about mental fortitude as physical capability. Moments of vulnerability, reflection, and ethical deliberation provide emotional depth, ensuring audiences connect with the human side of the young soldier. Encounters with civilians provide a contrasting perspective, highlighting the human cost of conflict and teaching empathy, responsibility, and moral discernment. Rambo's interactions with local populations illuminate the consequences of military action beyond tactical success, forcing him to weigh ethics alongside objectives. These experiences enrich his understanding of justice and consequence, laying the foundation for the principled hero he will become. Environmental mastery is emphasized as Rambo navigates jungles, rivers, mountains, and villages, learning to adapt to unpredictable conditions. The terrain itself becomes a character, shaping strategy, survival instincts, and tactical planning. Cinematography captures both the majesty and danger of these environments, providing immersive context for Rambo's evolving skill set. Each challenge presented by the natural world reinforces the narrative of growth, emphasizing that survival requires both intelligence and physical capability. Rambo's mentors are crucial in guiding his evolution, teaching discipline, strategy, and ethical judgment. Senior officers and experienced soldiers challenge him physically, mentally, and morally, shaping his perception of right and wrong while cultivating tactical proficiency. These figures exemplify both authority and guidance, ensuring that Rambo's growth is holistic rather than purely skill-based. Their influence establishes a continuum of knowledge and experience that he internalizes to form his emerging identity as a soldier. Early victories and failures underscore the cumulative nature of Rambo's development. Every mission, training exercise, or moral dilemma builds upon the last, providing incremental reinforcement of both competence and character. Audiences witness the tangible progression from inexperience to emerging expertise, making his eventual status as a legendary figure credible and emotionally resonant. These formative experiences emphasize perseverance, learning, and the value of incremental growth. The narrative frequently juxtaposes high-intensity action with moments of reflection, balancing cinematic spectacle with character-driven depth. Rambo's internal deliberations, observations, and strategic planning are shown alongside physical challenges, illustrating the integration of mind and body in his development. This approach highlights the multidimensional nature of heroism, showing that tactical skill, ethical reasoning, and psychological resilience are inseparable components of his evolution. Combat encounters serve as both narrative climax and training ground, testing tactical acumen, adaptability, and moral judgment. Each engagement reinforces lessons learned and exposes new challenges, fostering continuous growth. These sequences emphasize realism and cinematic intensity, allowing audiences to witness both the excitement of action and the deepening of character. Through repeated exposure to high-stakes situations, Rambo develops confidence, foresight, and the ability to remain composed under pressure. Interpersonal dynamics remain central, as relationships with peers, mentors, and civilians shape judgment, loyalty, and ethical reasoning. Conflicts and alliances provide narrative tension while illustrating the social dimensions of growth. Rambo's ability to navigate trust, rivalry, and leadership challenges reinforces his emerging identity, showing that heroism encompasses both individual skill and relational intelligence. The prequel emphasizes incremental skill acquisition, demonstrating that mastery is earned through experience, reflection, and persistent effort. Rambo's progression in combat, survival, and strategy is methodically portrayed, allowing audiences to perceive a logical and believable evolution. The narrative underscores that heroism is cultivated rather than innate, achieved through consistent engagement with adversity and ethical decision-making. Rambo's moral framework evolves alongside his tactical abilities. Decisions in high-stakes scenarios reveal a growing sense of responsibility, justice, and ethical clarity. These moments reinforce the depth of his character, showing that courage and competence are inseparable from principled judgment. The interplay between morality and strategy becomes a defining characteristic, distinguishing Rambo from conventional action heroes. Mentorship and guidance are repeatedly shown as catalysts for growth, demonstrating how external influence interacts with internal determination. Senior figures provide challenges, feedback, and moral frameworks that Rambo internalizes over time, creating a layered portrait of skill and character development. This emphasis ensures audiences recognize the holistic nature of his evolution, combining ethical insight with tactical excellence. Cumulative experience is portrayed as central to Rambo's transformation. Each challenge, mission, and interpersonal interaction contributes to a growing repertoire of skills, insights, and psychological resilience. Audiences witness the careful construction of competence, where every action, decision, and reflection adds to the foundation of a future legend. The prequel integrates environmental storytelling with personal growth, using natural landscapes and human interactions to illustrate development. Rivers, jungles, villages, and terrain obstacles provide both challenge and context, highlighting Rambo's evolving mastery of physical, tactical, and ethical domains. Visual storytelling reinforces narrative themes of resilience, strategy, and moral discernment. Rambo's leadership abilities gradually emerge, shaped by responsibility for others and decisions under pressure. He learns to coordinate, guide, and protect, translating personal skill into communal impact. These sequences demonstrate the emergence of strategic thinking, ethical awareness, and emotional intelligence in tandem, reinforcing his holistic evolution. The integration of action, reflection, and moral deliberation continues throughout, emphasizing that growth is multifaceted. Physical endurance, tactical skill, psychological resilience, and ethical reasoning develop in concert, creating a believable and compelling arc. Audiences gain insight into how every experience, trial, and lesson contributes to the making of a legendary figure. By the conclusion of these formative experiences, Rambo stands as a young soldier transformed through adversity, guidance, and reflection. His physical prowess, tactical intelligence, ethical clarity, and emotional resilience coalesce into a multidimensional character ready to assume the mantle of the hero audiences have come to know. The prequel provides a nuanced, immersive, and fully realized portrait of the making of John Rambo. Rambo's journey begins in the remote jungles, where every step presents both a physical and mental test. The harsh terrain, dense foliage, and unpredictable environment immediately demand adaptability and resilience. As a young recruit, he is unprepared for the challenges ahead, yet each obstacle becomes a catalyst for growth. Mentors and commanding officers push him relentlessly, blending guidance with high expectations. These early lessons establish the foundation of discipline, endurance, and strategic thinking that will define his future. Training is grueling, combining rigorous physical drills with tactical simulations designed to test skill and ingenuity. Each exercise, whether it involves survival techniques, reconnaissance, or combat strategy, serves to sharpen Rambo's instincts. Mistakes are as instructive as successes, teaching patience, foresight, and adaptability. Through repeated exposure to controlled challenges, he begins to internalize principles of efficiency, observation, and calculated risk-taking. The interplay between physical exertion and cognitive skill development sets the stage for his holistic evolution. Early missions immerse Rambo in real-world stakes, where the consequences of action extend beyond drills or simulations. Facing hostile forces and unpredictable threats, he learns the importance of decisiveness and ethical consideration. Split-second decisions in life-and-death situations teach him the value of observation, timing, and strategic foresight. These experiences not only refine his physical capabilities but also shape his moral compass, illustrating that skill without judgment is incomplete. Camaraderie and rivalry among recruits play a significant role in shaping Rambo's interpersonal development. Trust, loyalty, and competition coexist, providing fertile ground for learning about human behavior and social dynamics. Mentors challenge him to navigate these relationships wisely, emphasizing collaboration without compromising independence of thought. Through shared struggles and victories, he begins to understand leadership, responsibility, and the value of ethical action within a collective context. The jungles themselves become a constant teacher, presenting challenges that test endurance, observation, and adaptability. Navigating rivers, dense foliage, and unpredictable terrain forces Rambo to develop a nuanced understanding of environmental strategy. These natural obstacles complement human challenges, reinforcing lessons in resourcefulness and situational awareness. Cinematography emphasizes the scale and intensity of the environment, creating a visual metaphor for the obstacles Rambo must overcome internally and externally. Psychological resilience is central to his evolution. Encounters with fear, uncertainty, and moral ambiguity compel him to cultivate focus, patience, and emotional control. Moments of introspection reveal the internal processing required to survive and thrive. Audiences witness the development of coping mechanisms and problem-solving strategies, highlighting that heroism is forged as much in the mind as in the body. Emotional depth accompanies physical growth, presenting Rambo as a multidimensional character rather than a simple action archetype. Encounters with civilians deepen his ethical awareness. By witnessing the human cost of conflict, Rambo gains perspective beyond tactical objectives. Decisions regarding protection, aid, or intervention illustrate the integration of empathy into his emerging moral framework. These experiences underscore that heroism encompasses compassion and accountability, balancing the demands of survival with ethical responsibility. Mentorship is a recurring catalyst for growth, with senior officers and experienced soldiers providing challenges that stretch Rambo's limits. Guidance in tactical planning, moral reasoning, and leadership is intertwined with high expectations and rigorous testing. The combination of instruction and challenge ensures that development is both disciplined and deeply internalized. Mentors act as mirrors, reflecting both potential and limitation, fostering a sense of accountability and strategic awareness. Rambo's early victories and setbacks serve as narrative milestones. Triumphs reinforce confidence and competence, while failures teach humility and perseverance. Each engagement, whether in training or early missions, builds upon prior experience, demonstrating the incremental accumulation of skill and judgment. Audiences can trace the progression from raw talent to capable and reflective young soldier, understanding the labor behind his eventual mastery. Combat scenarios emphasize integration of skill, morality, and strategy. Each engagement requires the application of learned techniques while testing judgment under pressure. Tactical decisions are balanced with ethical considerations, reinforcing that heroism involves both action and conscience. Repeated exposure to high-stakes situations cultivates confidence, strategic foresight, and emotional regulation, all essential to Rambo's evolution. Camaraderie and rivalry continue to shape character. Relationships with peers teach negotiation, trust, and interpersonal judgment. Conflicts and alliances provide tension and opportunity for growth, emphasizing that leadership and heroism extend beyond individual capability. Navigating these dynamics helps Rambo develop situational awareness and moral clarity, reinforcing the multidimensional nature of his maturation. Reflection is interwoven with action, offering insight into Rambo's inner life. Moments of solitude, contemplation, and ethical deliberation punctuate high-intensity sequences, providing emotional resonance. Audiences see the balance between instinct, reflection, and strategy, illustrating that growth is not purely external but rooted in conscious development of judgment and skill. Incremental skill acquisition is portrayed as deliberate and cumulative. Physical conditioning, tactical mastery, and environmental adaptation progress logically, creating a believable trajectory of development. Rambo's evolution emphasizes learning from experience, the integration of knowledge, and the refinement of judgment over time. This approach reinforces that legendary capability is earned through discipline and reflection rather than innate ability alone. Ethical evolution remains central. Rambo faces decisions that challenge instinct, self-interest, and immediate survival, requiring him to integrate morality into strategic choice. These moments reveal a developing sense of responsibility, justice, and empathy, underscoring that heroism is as much about principle as action. The narrative ensures that courage is paired with ethical clarity, shaping the foundation for his later iconic persona. Mentorship and guidance are consistent motifs. Figures of authority, experienced soldiers, and even peers function as mirrors, shaping judgment and ethical reasoning. Lessons in strategy, discipline, and morality are absorbed gradually, reflecting the interplay of external instruction and internalization. This holistic approach ensures that audiences understand the complexity behind Rambo's emergence as a hero. Cumulative experience shapes both skill and identity. Each mission, encounter, and challenge contributes to a growing mastery of physical, tactical, and psychological domains. Audiences witness how repeated exposure to adversity fosters resilience, resourcefulness, and foresight. The narrative demonstrates the labor behind capability, showing that skill and heroism are built through layered, deliberate experience. Environmental storytelling reinforces development. Jungle landscapes, river crossings, and village settings provide both visual spectacle and functional lessons, illustrating adaptability, observation, and tactical ingenuity. The setting mirrors internal growth, reflecting the interplay of challenge, strategy, and moral navigation. Cinematic techniques emphasize scale, danger, and immersion, enhancing the narrative's emotional and psychological impact. Leadership begins to emerge as Rambo assumes responsibility for his peers and missions. Early exercises in command, coordination, and protection demonstrate the convergence of skill, judgment, and ethical consideration. The audience observes a trajectory from individual learner to emerging strategist, emphasizing that heroism encompasses responsibility, foresight, and interpersonal acumen. The prequel's narrative balances action, reflection, and moral deliberation. Physical challenges are coupled with psychological and ethical tests, highlighting the multidimensional nature of development. Every success, failure, and decision contributes to a coherent trajectory, creating a believable arc of progression toward legendary capability. By the culmination of these formative experiences, Rambo emerges as a young soldier transformed. Physical prowess, tactical intelligence, ethical awareness, and emotional resilience converge, establishing the foundation for the hero known in later narratives. The prequel provides an immersive, nuanced, and fully realized depiction of growth, illustrating that the making of John Rambo is a careful balance of skill, morality, and psychological strength. Rambo's journey begins in the dense, unforgiving jungles of Southeast Asia, where the environment itself becomes both teacher and adversary. The harsh terrain, heavy foliage, and unpredictable conditions immediately test his physical endurance and mental fortitude. As a young recruit, he is raw, inexperienced, and unprepared for the intensity of training, yet every obstacle serves as a catalyst for growth. Mentors and commanding officers push him relentlessly, blending instruction with high expectations, ensuring that each mistake teaches patience, observation, and adaptation. These early lessons form the foundation of discipline, resilience, and tactical intelligence that will define his emergence as a hero. Training is relentless, combining grueling physical drills with complex tactical simulations. Rambo learns to navigate rivers, scale cliffs, and survive in dense jungle while honing combat skills. Each exercise serves a dual purpose, testing immediate capability and fostering the mental flexibility needed to adapt under pressure. Mistakes are instructive, triumphs reinforcing confidence, and each scenario teaches him to anticipate, observe, and react with precision. The interplay of physical exertion and cognitive skill sets the stage for the multidimensional growth that defines his journey. Early missions immerse Rambo in real-world consequences that extend beyond simulated exercises. He confronts hostile forces, unpredictable threats, and high-stakes environments where split-second decisions determine survival. These experiences hone both tactical skill and ethical reasoning, emphasizing that heroism demands both action and moral judgment. Each engagement contributes incrementally to his evolving mastery of strategy, situational awareness, and emotional resilience, establishing a credible trajectory from novice to capable soldier. Interactions with fellow recruits shape Rambo's social and ethical development. Camaraderie, trust, and rivalry emerge as central forces in his evolution, highlighting the nuances of human relationships in high-pressure environments. Mentors challenge him to navigate these dynamics effectively, balancing collaboration with independent judgment. Through shared struggle, victories, and failures, Rambo begins to grasp the responsibilities of leadership, the value of loyalty, and the ethical weight of his decisions. The natural environment itself serves as a powerful teacher. Rivers, dense foliage, and unpredictable terrain provide constant challenges, forcing Rambo to develop resourcefulness and adaptability. Nature becomes both adversary and ally, demanding observation, strategy, and quick reflexes. Cinematography captures the scale, danger, and beauty of the setting, emphasizing how environmental mastery parallels Rambo's internal growth. Each obstacle teaches survival, strategy, and situational awareness, reinforcing the layered nature of his evolution. Psychological resilience is central to Rambo's journey. Repeated exposure to danger, ethical dilemmas, and physical strain cultivates patience, focus, and mental toughness. Moments of introspection allow audiences to glimpse his internal processing, showing how fear and doubt are transformed into determination and strategic clarity. The development of coping mechanisms, emotional regulation, and problem-solving strategies highlights the holistic nature of his growth, illustrating that heroism emerges as much from the mind as from the body. Encounters with civilians expand Rambo's ethical framework. Witnessing the human cost of conflict fosters empathy, responsibility, and moral discernment. These interactions reinforce the understanding that heroism encompasses more than tactical success, it includes consideration of consequence, protection of innocence, and ethical judgment. By integrating these lessons, Rambo's emerging moral code becomes a cornerstone of his character, informing future decisions and cementing the link between skill and conscience. Mentorship remains a consistent and vital catalyst for growth. Senior officers and experienced soldiers provide challenges that test physical capability, strategic thinking, and moral reasoning. Guidance is often paired with rigorous expectations, ensuring lessons are internalized rather than superficially learned. Mentors act as mirrors, reflecting both potential and limitation, fostering accountability and the development of foresight, strategic awareness, and ethical clarity. Early victories and failures serve as critical milestones. Triumphs reinforce confidence and competence, while setbacks teach humility and perseverance. Each mission, training exercise, or moral dilemma contributes incrementally to the accumulation of skill and judgment. The narrative emphasizes that progression is earned through consistent engagement with adversity, making Rambo's eventual mastery both believable and emotionally satisfying. Combat scenarios illustrate the integration of skill, strategy, and ethical reasoning. Each engagement challenges Rambo to apply learned techniques while navigating high-stakes moral dilemmas. Tactical decisions are intertwined with ethical considerations, reinforcing the idea that heroism involves courage, intelligence, and conscience. Exposure to repeated high-pressure situations develops decisiveness, foresight, and composure under threat, solidifying the foundation of his legendary capabilities. Camaraderie and rivalry continue to shape Rambo's identity. Relationships with peers teach negotiation, trust, and leadership skills, while conflicts present opportunities for reflection and growth. These dynamics illuminate the social dimensions of heroism, showing that Rambo's evolution is not solely individual but influenced by interaction, observation, and moral engagement with others. Reflective moments punctuate the action, revealing Rambo's internal struggles, ethical considerations, and psychological growth. Solitude, contemplation, and introspection allow him to integrate lessons learned from combat, training, and interpersonal experiences. These sequences provide emotional resonance, balancing spectacle with character depth and highlighting that true heroism involves understanding one's choices, fears, and responsibilities. Skill acquisition is depicted incrementally, with each challenge building upon previous experience. Physical conditioning, environmental adaptation, and tactical acumen progress logically, demonstrating a believable development arc. Rambo's growth emphasizes learning through trial, reflection, and adaptation, reinforcing that mastery is earned rather than innate. Ethical development runs parallel to skill growth. Rambo encounters scenarios requiring moral discernment, forcing him to reconcile instinct with principle. Decisions in life-and-death situations shape his emerging code, illustrating that courage is inseparable from conscience. The interplay of morality and tactical intelligence becomes a defining aspect of his character, creating a hero whose actions are guided by both skill and ethics. Mentorship and guidance reinforce the trajectory of development. Senior figures challenge, support, and model ethical behavior, ensuring that lessons are absorbed through experience rather than instruction alone. This dynamic contributes to the depth and credibility of Rambo's evolution, combining practical skill with moral and psychological growth. Cumulative experiences solidify Rambo's transformation. Each mission, obstacle, and interpersonal interaction adds layers to skill, judgment, and resilience. Repeated exposure to adversity cultivates resourcefulness, strategic thinking, and emotional fortitude. The narrative demonstrates that true capability arises from consistent, layered experience rather than singular acts of heroism. Environmental challenges continue to serve as narrative and developmental catalysts. The jungles, rivers, and villages provide both spectacle and functional lessons, emphasizing adaptability, observation, and tactical ingenuity. Visual storytelling complements character evolution, highlighting the interplay of external challenge and internal growth. Leadership qualities gradually emerge as Rambo assumes responsibility for peers and missions. Early experiences in coordination, protection, and decision-making demonstrate the convergence of skill, strategy, and ethical consideration. Audiences observe a progression from individual learner to emerging leader, underscoring the multidimensional nature of heroism. The prequel balances high-intensity action with contemplative moments, ensuring that growth is portrayed holistically. Physical prowess, tactical mastery, psychological resilience, and ethical awareness are developed concurrently, creating a multidimensional character whose journey is both believable and compelling. By the culmination of these experiences, Rambo stands as a transformed young soldier. His physical capabilities, tactical intelligence, moral compass, and emotional resilience converge to form the foundation of the hero known in later narratives. The prequel provides a rich, immersive portrayal of growth, showing that the making of John Rambo is a complex interplay of skill, conscience, and psychological strength. Rambo's emerging reputation is shaped not only by victories but also by the ethical consistency he displays in high-stakes situations. Actions taken with thought, precision, and moral clarity establish the early contours of his identity as a principled yet formidable figure. The narrative emphasizes that heroism requires both competence and conscience, ensuring that audiences recognize the depth behind his legendary persona. Repeated exposure to adversity strengthens his adaptability, resourcefulness, and ingenuity. Each challenge, whether environmental, social, or combat-related, contributes to the development of a well-rounded warrior. Rambo learns to integrate observation, strategy, and ethical judgment seamlessly, illustrating a comprehensive trajectory of growth that resonates across both narrative and thematic dimensions. Rambo's interactions with mentors, peers, and civilians continue to shape decision-making, moral clarity, and leadership. The balance between guidance and independent judgment underscores his emergence as a self-reliant yet ethically grounded hero. Relationships serve as both tests and catalysts, reinforcing the social and moral dimensions of his evolution. By the mid to late sequences of the prequel, Rambo demonstrates significant growth in leadership, strategy, and psychological resilience. He begins to act decisively under pressure while maintaining ethical consideration, illustrating the integration of skill and conscience. Audiences witness the tangible formation of the hero who will dominate future narratives. Environmental mastery becomes increasingly sophisticated. Rambo navigates complex terrain with foresight and strategic precision, demonstrating the culmination of lessons learned through repeated engagement with natural challenges. Each success reinforces his confidence and adaptability, highlighting the interplay between observation, skill, and ethical decision-making. Training, combat, mentorship, and reflection converge to solidify Rambo's multidimensional development. Each facet of growth, physical, tactical, psychological, ethical, is interdependent, creating a coherent and compelling portrait of a hero in formation. The audience is given insight into both the labor and the instinct that define his emerging legend. The prequel's pacing emphasizes incremental growth. Challenges escalate in complexity, requiring simultaneous engagement of skill, strategy, and moral reasoning. Audiences observe a gradual, believable progression from novice recruit to disciplined, reflective, and formidable soldier, ensuring that his legendary status in later narratives is fully earned. By the conclusion of the prequel, Rambo stands as a cohesive, multidimensional figure. Physical prowess, tactical acumen, ethical clarity, and emotional resilience coalesce to form the foundation of the legendary character known throughout the franchise. The narrative emphasizes that heroism is earned, cultivated, and continuously reinforced through experience, reflection, and principled action.